AFR.net.
Hi, and welcome back to this Monday edition of Focal Point on AFR Talk. Great to have you in the conversation. Want to talk a little bit about this immigration debacle down on the border. Joe Arpaio said, look, we deport these guys all the time. We turn them over to ICE, Sheriff Joe down in Arizona. We detain these illegal aliens, these illegal alien criminals. We detain them. He says, I got 3,800 of them in my jail down here. I got 3,800 of them. These are illegal aliens. They are criminal aliens. The only reason that I've got them in my custody is they've broken our laws. They've been apprehended breaking American law. So I've got them in my tent. We turn them over to ICE when the time comes, and they're supposed to be deported. They keep showing up right back here in Arizona. I got a lot of repeat customers going to get frequent flyer bonuses here for their stays at my outfit. So all that's going on down there on the border. Murrieta, I've made this suggestion before. This little town in California, Murrieta, that, it struck me that this is like Lexington and Concord. Murrieta is our Lexington and Concord today. Remember, Lexington and Concord is where the militia, these are just ordinary people. These are people that went to work Monday through Friday, and they showed up on the Lexington Green because the redcoats, the regulars, were coming. This is the famous riot of Paul Revere and all this. It's the night before. Paul Revere's out there. The regulars are out. The regulars are out. He didn't say the British are coming because everybody was British. He went out and said the regulars are coming. So the people in Lexington and Concord, they take their stand on the village green because here come the armed redcoats. They want their guns. They want their ammunition. And so this is an invading force, and the ordinary residents at Lexington Green stood up to tyranny and got shot down. They got mowed down for their trouble. And then they moved on to the Concord Bridge. That's where the shot heard round the world was fired as those farmers by the Rude Bridge stood against this invading force and turned them back, who were coming to disarm them and turn them back. But what happened in Lexington and Concord, these were just ordinary Americans that stood up to this invading force. This was an invading army, and they stood up against them, just put their bodies on the line to stand up to this kind of tyranny. Now, that's what's going on down in Murrieta. It's exactly what's going on down there. These are ordinary citizens. We talked about this last week. They're flying plane loads into Murrieta. I mean, Border Patrol saying we're bringing a plane load of these aliens every 72 hours. Every 3 days, you're going to get another plane load of these illegal aliens. We're going to dump them in your town. This is a town of 100,000 people. This is not a big town. Doesn't have a lot of resources. Doesn't have a huge police force. They're naturally concerned about problems of homelessness. They're concerned about problems of public health. We know that a lot of these illegal aliens are coming in with contagious diseases. We have stories now of Border Patrol agents catching these infectious diseases from these illegal aliens. They're not being screened. They're not being treated. The way they quarantine them is with the yellow caution tape. That's it. They don't put them in a separate room. Don't put them in a separate facility. They quarantine them using yellow caution tape, which is absurd. There's no protection there. That's no kind of quarantine whatsoever. So they're concerned about the impact on their public health. They're concerned about the impact on crime. They're concerned, again, about the possible increase in homelessness and what that's going to mean, the strain that's going to put on social services. So they just got out in the street when the last bus pulled in there. They just got out on the street and blocked the bus from getting to where it was going so they could offload these illegal aliens, and they had to go to another place where they dropped them off. And I've talked about this before, but you look at the descriptions of these detention centers. They're calling them refugee centers. But, the one at Fort Sill where Jim Bridenstine went, he gave us a description of that. He said, look, they got chain link fence all around this place. The windows and everything is covered so you cannot see inside that facility. You got no idea what's going on inside there. There's chain link fence all around the place. Every gate is locked. And there's a sentry that are on patrol all the time. And these guys call themselves the brown shirts. It's unbelievable to me. The people that are patrolling call themselves the brown shirts. That's what Hitler's guys called themselves, the stormtroopers. They were the brown shirts. So you got brown shirts. You have chain link fence surrounding these facilities. Every gate is locked. You can't see what's going on. And I said, these are not refugee centers. These are concentration camps. That's what you got going on. These children are being locked up inside concentration camps. Now, let's grab clip number 1. This is from a Marietta town hall. Finally, the officials in Marietta said, look, we got to get everybody together and talk about this issue. So here are just some ordinary citizens in the town of Marietta. This is our Lexington. This is our Concord. And they are telling city officials exactly how they feel about this invasion of criminal illegal aliens into their town of 100,000. Let's listen.
A real handle on what this is costing us out of our pockets. And please, use the word illegal aliens. They came across here illegally.
If I break the law, you're going to come down on me real quick. And yet, you are not following the law. You are breaking the law.
Are you the type of man that'll draw the line in the sand in Marietta, California today, on this Independence Day, and say it stops here?
Is there another bus coming to our city, and where can I be when for this next protest to protect that bus from coming here?
So those are the citizens of Marietta saying, don't call them undocumented immigrants. Call them what they are, illegal aliens. And the place went ballistic. Why? Because that's what they are. You know, there's 2 words I've discovered in this debate over the last week, 2 words that liberals absolutely hate, and they hate them because they both are true. They hate the word illegal, and they hate the word alien. They're not even using immigrants anymore. They're trying to change the term to migrants. They want to use undocumented as opposed to illegal, and they want to use migrants instead of immigrants or aliens. Well, the reality is they are illegal aliens. They are aliens. They are not Native Americans. They do not have legal status. They don't have a residency permit. They're not citizens. They don't have the right even to be in this country. That makes them aliens, and they're illegal because they're breaking the law simply by being here. And now you've got the federales are calling out riot police to control the citizens in Marietta if they try to stop the next bus. You know, and the Border Patrol is saying, look, we're going to bring 1 airplane. Here's a quote from the San Diego Sector Chief Paul Beeson. We're going to bring 1 airplane is scheduled to arrive in San Diego from Texas every 72 hours. So that means the next plane must be in the air heading toward Marietta as we speak. And they're bringing in federal agents with riot gear that are there in Marietta right now as you and I are speaking to handle this kind of showdown. This is Lexington Green all over again. John Henry, a Marietta resident since 1991, was told by local officers, we're being told that federal marshals or ICE will be here in the next few days and that they are going to bring riot gear. They're apparently going to be blocking off the street with concrete blockades so that no vehicles can get through. The River County Sheriff's Department showed up last night and brought a huge watchtower that shoots up into the air 35 feet. Now, I want you to think about this just for a second. Here are the same people who says, no, we can't build a fence. It's impossible to build a fence. Can't do a fence. A fence won't work. But they're willing to put up concrete blockades to interfere with the movement of American citizens. They won't put a fence up to do anything to interfere with the migration patterns of illegal aliens, but they will put concrete barricades up in the way of American citizens to block their freedom of movement. They're bringing riot gear in. So they're not going to use that kind of riot gear at the border to stop criminal trespassing into the United States of America. They're going to use that riot gear armored up to stop American citizens from exercising their First Amendment right to protest what's being done without their permission, without their knowledge, without their consultation to their own city. So we'll see where this goes. I mean, you got these illegal aliens now that are being rewarded for breaking the law. They're being rewarded for going past these barriers that have been established by legal authorities in the United States, and they're going to be rewarded with taxpayer-subsidized benefits like housing They're going to get food stamps. They'll get education. They'll get vocational training. They're getting legal counseling. And then once they get all this help, they're going to be released onto U.S. soil to go who knows where. Nobody knows where these people are going. But you have U.S. citizens, on the other hand, when they trespass some kind of concrete blockade set by authorities, they're getting punished. The authorities are going to land on them like a falling safe. And so the citizens of Murrieta not happy about this, nor should they be. Let's grab clip number 2. Here is a Border Patrol officer, Hector Garza, clip number 2, talking about what he thinks our federal government is doing right now.
Well, thank you for having me. Basically, what we're seeing is plain and simple is a rampant abuse of our immigration system. We have a situation right now where our federal government is pretty much aiding and abetting and facilitating the smuggling of these individuals, of these illegal aliens. These illegal aliens cross our borders illegally. We apprehend these illegal aliens that pretty much surrender themselves because they know that they're getting a free pass. This is an orchestrated situation. It's orchestrated by the drug cartels, and it's pretty much a rampant abuse of our immigration system.
All right, so that's Border Patrol agent Hector Garza, and he wasn't done. Let's play clip number 3. The CNN guy, Michael Pereira, says, look, what do you suggest? This is your job down there. What needs to happen? Here's what he had to say.
Well, the changes need to start here in our country. We need to make sure that our Border Patrol agents have the proper resources and the proper funding to make sure that they can do their job. As it is right now, with this orchestrated and this organized situation that we're having, it's a border security crisis. Some people call it a humanitarian crisis, and to some degree it is, but it's a border security crisis. We have to make sure that our agents are able to do their job. At this point, about 70% of our Border Patrol agents in this area are being reassigned for processing duties. What that means is that we're leaving approximately 30% of our Border Patrol agents to actually do field work, to actually patrol our border. And what that creates is a very porous border where dangerous criminals, dangerous drugs are entering our country undetected, and they're making their way to our communities.
All right, that's Hector Garza, Border Patrol official. If you want to call and weigh in on what we talked about with the establishment Republicans or with this border crisis, 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. Be right back.